Hi, how's everybody doing? Okay, so I actually wanted to make a podcast to clarify some of the information that I have spoken about in some of the previous podcasts that are on YouTube. I want to speak about the differences between certain Republicans in the way that they think. So let's go to 2019, where everybody was kind of talking about the statute of limitations and trying to get it extended. I actually made a petition in hopes of trying to help, since my story was kind of shared during that year. But I'm not going to say the names of the senators that are involved, but I will say both of their names are very similar and their last names are different. But they're both Republicans, and there seems to have been some type of disagreements within the Republican Party in the year of 2019. And the disagreements were centered upon the differences of agreement about how to deal with cases that are about sexual abuse, child abuse, sexual rape, exploitation, aggressive sexual gratification, basically sex crimes is what the disagreement in the Republicans' political office was in 2019. And like I said, this video is really just to clarify, because there are senators who are doing a wonderful job as far as trying to advocate for victims, and then there are Republicans in the Republican office who are not trying to help these victims. And so I'm going to read some of this. A bill extending the statute of limitations for sex crimes bill. And that bill just so happens to be Bill 109. And the Bill 109, well, let me just read what it says. So it says, a bill that would have eliminated the statute of limitations for child sex abuse crimes is making headway in the 2020 Indiana General Assembly. But some advocates are disappointed in how the bill has panned out. Advocates such as myself. Indiana Senate Bill 109, proposed by Senator, I'm not going to say his name. He is a Republican and he's from Greenfield. Initially aimed to extend the amount of time survivors have to bring criminal charges against their abusers under certain state law. Hoosiers who were sexually abused as children have until age 31 to criminally prosecute those who harmed them. An amendment authorized by Senator, and I'm going to say this guy's name. I'm not going to protect his name because he's just the worst. He's just the worst. I'm going to go ahead and say this particular senator's name who actually opposed this bill. And he is also a Republican. An amendment authorized by Senator Mike Young, a Republican of Indianapolis, to Senate Bill 109 would ultimately keep the statute of limitations in place, but allow for 3 exceptions to rule if one of the 3 things occurred: DNA evidence sufficient to charge the offender, a recording of the crime is revealed, or a confession is made. From that point forward, law enforcement would have 5 years to pursue a criminal prosecution, even if the age 31 statute of limitation has passed. Those exceptions are also offered for survivors of rape, introduced in a 2015 bill authorized by Crider, known as Jenny's Law. And as you guys know, Well, I'm not going to go into his information. But as currently proposed, the exceptions in Senate Bill 109 would apply to survivors of child molestation, vicarious sexual gratification, child solicitation, child seduction, sexual misconduct with minors, and incest. During a Senate Corrections and Criminal Law Committee hearing on January 23rd, Young indicated that eliminating the statute of limitations might pose difficulties of having someone being able to properly defend themselves. With the loss of witnesses or evidence or an alibi. Some advocates who testified said that they felt blindsided when the amendment was proposed. It was extremely upsetting, said Joy, a survivor and a founder of sexual abuse resource provider Out of the Shadows. I don't know what the fear is in just taking that jump and doing this for victims. Will we take it? Is it enough? Absolutely not. And then Camille Cooper, Vice President, the Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network, agreed that her organization is also disappointed the statute of limitations was not eliminated. We will take what we can get, but I think in its current form, it's still prohibited, Cooper said. It resists law enforcement's capability to really move forward on those cases that they want an opportunity to completely investigate and to try to follow where the evidence leads them. Cooper noted that while DNA evidence, recordings, and confessions will open the door for prosecutions in some cases, there are numerous other ways that sex crimes cases can be proven. And I agree with that. I actually was very disappointed that the statute of limitations was not extended or eliminated. I don't want to say shocked, but I just was like in disbelief. Like, out of all the things in the world that the senators and politicians present as bills, why on earth was this not accepted by everybody in the political office, whether it's Democrat or Republican? And it's very interesting that there was actually disagreements between Michael and Michael in the Republican Party in the state of Indiana about this. And it just goes to show you the difference of beliefs in the Republican Party. So I know that at its grandest form, people assume that everybody that's a Republican is bad. But the truth is, there's people who want to do the right thing. There's people that want to create laws that'll help. And there's people that don't. And granted, there is some things that this particular senator did present as bills that I don't agree with. And I'm not sure if that was because if he was confused on whose side I was on in this particular conversation. But I'm always on the side of the victims in any conversation. That was the reason why I spent years working with the Indianapolis Star newspaper on this project. I didn't spend years on this project for no reason. I didn't spend years of my life giving information that I could have kept private for there to be no effects and no impact of it. So I just wanted to share that information because, and like I said, the Republican that opposed this bill, his name is Michael Young. And I know that people continue to hear young. Well, the interesting thing is that the property that was sold in 2020, the deed that I've been speaking about and filing this case about, was actually purchased by a young man with the last name of Young. So there has been tons of work put in to try to twist it around, flip it around, spin it around, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And so I did just want to make this podcast so that people have a understanding of what is really going on. when it comes to these victims of sexual assault, rape, and child molestation, incest, and all of these conversations. And actually, in the previous summer, I was being harassed and stalked at a level that is way beyond what it is now. And part of the reason why they were doing that is because they were trying to convince me to agree with things such as calling women liars about assault and rape, such as making it okay for incest to be going on. And we all know that those things are completely unacceptable. Those things are completely unacceptable. There's no reason why people should be doing incest. There's no reason why people should be doing child molestation. There is no reason on God's green earth why people would be doing these type of sexual crimes and deviances. There is no excuse in the world, okay, to make stuff like this acceptable. And granted, there is people who are making false allegations against people. There are people who are setting people up for sexual crimes. But we're talking about people that are really victims of sexual abuse and crimes. And I just wanted to specify this because I don't think that people have really talked about it as much as they should have. And I just wanted to share this information with you guys.